Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're viewing from. It's been a long, long time. I haven't been doing much interviewing lately, but we have a very, very, very special guest who's the creator of the show Set It Off Senior Style, Dr. Charlene Smith. And so we're going to have a conversation about dating. The show was about senior dating. And so she's got a new thing going on now to help seniors or individuals that are interested in acquiring some additional dating tips.
Okay, well, my new adventure is writing a book. And right now, the title is Single Seeking Senior Soulmate. It's going to be about my story with recovering from bad relationships and how I learned to open myself up and be open to love, how to open my heart. I have information in there about what it means between dating and relationships because a lot of times when people start having more than one date, they tend to think it's a relationship, but it's not a relationship until there's exclusivity. And then some relationship skills, and I'll talk about some of the nuances of being a senior because some people are out there dating and they haven't dated in 30, 40 years. So I have some tips to update to help them date safely, whether it's online or in person. And then also some things to reassess themselves. We want to be the best partner for someone else that we can be, doing things that make us our better selves, and learning to love ourselves more. Even at 60, we've done a lot of things, had a lot of responsibilities, and now at this stage in our life, really reassessing who we are and where we want to go in the future. And in that process, we also identify what are we wanting, what are we desiring in our partner. And I define the differences between need, want, and desire. I also have a course that's going to go along with the book. I'm trying to get some case studies right now. And with those case studies, I'm running courses. So I am now a dating coach. So people can take the course, which I have several people in it, or they can do individual coaching. I decided to write this book because I have a lot of friends. I run into a lot of seniors that say they're done. They're just done with dating, done with love. They're saying, come on now, you can do this, you can do that. I think Tyler Perry said it best at the end of one of his shows up in New York is where I started to turn myself around because I was in a place that I was done with relationships. And so he said that for every relationship that doesn't work, there's lessons to be learned. And it prepares you for your soulmate. And the thing that's really cool is that open your heart to love because there's someone out there that's going through their lessons and God is working on them so that they can be your perfect soulmate. So I started opening my heart. I used several books, I did a little bit of therapy and learned to do something called radiating. And every time I did that, somebody asked me for their phone number. So I wanted to share the information about it and hopefully seniors, male and female, but my focus is particularly women of color, but all of these will apply to any kind of relationship to make it better because the key is making yourself better and loving yourself. I learned a lot about energetic connections and how to break those so that it makes more space in your heart. I learned about making positive affirmations and waking up grateful each and every morning, having a spiritual base, um, having believing in something higher, larger than yourself. But ultimately, that course was about loving yourself first. Because when you love you, it does radiate, it has positive energy with other people, and that's attractive. And so, getting rid of the old baggage, the old energetic connections, I have techniques on how to do that. And then in the course, we're going to work on writing profiles if you want to try the online dating. But if not, we also are going to have where you write up what's your desirable partner? And in that process, we really look at if you want someone that's financially stable, then you need to be financially stable. If you
Mm.
want someone that loves to travel, then need to know how to travel and travel. So you have something in common to talk about. A lot of people ask me, how do I open my heart for love? Because I feel like I'm too old for love. You're never too old. I have lots of people that have found love in their 80s. And I know one relationship in particular only lasted for 3 years because the other person passed on. But I don't know if you heard the thing about the city in Florida, the villages, where 60 Minutes did a expose on the area because that's an over 55 community retirement area, and there were a lot of STDs. And there was a lady that went into one of the recreation centers and she was asking the people, is this the place where CBS talked about the STDs? And one guy got really upset about, they shouldn't have done that. It's not anybody's business. And she said, no, 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 no. I just want to know because that means somebody's getting it up around here and I want to move over here. So it doesn't matter how old we are, we still want to live life and we want to live it to our fullest and we want to live it with companionship. And so that's one of the things that sometimes people feel they're too old. You're never too old. The other thing that I get a lot of questions about, okay, I'm over 60 and someone that's looking for a man will say, well, most of them want to date younger women, or there's not enough men that are healthy around. Well, you have to use your network, and the use of online dating expands your opportunities and potential for finding a soulmate, a senior soulmate at this age. So you have to be willing to be flexible. And then once you find that person that you're going to have a relationship with, the next question I get is, okay, so some things don't work the way they used to. And we have a discussion about that and how to make adjustments. um, Men and women have physical changes due to age. And then we also have more health problems. So, how to overcome some of those things to still have intimacy and sexual intercourse if that's what the couple desires. I also talk about at this age, sometimes people don't really want a sexual relationship, but they want a travel companion or a friend. And if that's what you want, that's fine. If that makes you happy and that gives you joy in life, that's fine. Some people have relationships like Oprah and Stedman. They have a strong commitment, possibly an engagement, but they don't ever get married. And at this age, we have benefits to consider that marriage could stop some benefits. So, those are the kinds of questions that I usually get. If you don't know anything about online dating, that's why we go through the whole process. We talk about what are the safest sites to go on. We talk about writing a profile that doesn't give a lot of personal information. Talk about how to identify the scammers, and that's for men and women. I used to think that most of the scammers were men online, but I've talked to a lot of men that date online, and they are like, you would not believe how many scammers are women and some of the things that women do. Some of the things that both genders do is they'll put old pictures of themselves instead of a current picture. Of course, they'll exaggerate some things. They might say, oh, I love to travel, and they've never left their city. Um, so we go through the whole thing, how to do a profile, how to keep your information personal, even to the point of if you do decide to meet someone that you've met online, how to do that safely, tips about going to a public place and things you can do once you get there, having a second phone so that your personal phone is not used in case it doesn't work out. Because remember, dating is not a relationship, it's an exploration. And that's one of the things I talk about in the book is that if you've been in a long-term relationship and you're used to that commitment behavior, You may think, okay, now somebody's talking to me, they're paying attention to me, this is commitment, this is a relationship. And then when you find out they're dating somebody else, you get upset. Dating is not a commitment. And so it takes several dates and several explorations and good conversations before you actually get into a relationship. So those are the things that we cover about online dating. Safety, number one, how to do an update, because we're all beautiful. We all, regardless of what age we're at, what size, what gender, we're all beautiful. God gave us beautiful souls, and we want to express that. And that could mean getting a new hairstyle, updating your wardrobe, maybe going and exercising and losing a little weight. Those are the kinds of things that we do in the discussions about not just online dating, but even dating in person. You want to be your best self. And whatever that is, whatever you're capable of doing, that's what we talk about presenting. We've had photo shoots, which is a lot of fun to do. You get dressed up, and of course, when you're dressed up, you feel better. And you know how to get out there and how to flirt. If you're in person, how to flirt online, so that you can start to get that attraction going. I do have the top online websites for seniors. Some of them are not the most common ones that you hear. I have some dating agencies that are pretty good with seniors, and we do a lot of self exploration so that when you do meet your soulmate, you know that that's the one. We all have experiences with dating. Some have had really good dating experiences. Baby boomers or the first generation that's had multiple marriages and divorces. How do you get over those? How do you recuperate? Um, I myself, I am a survivor of a very violent relationship, marriage, and was able to get over that. I was closed for several years after that marriage, and my I was invisible, and I had this aura about me that said, "Do not approach." And sometimes people would flirt with me, and it was like, oh, one guy said, "If looks could kill," because I wasn't having it. I was closed to love. I was done. So people do have different experiences, and I talk about that. But if you open your heart and make room in your heart, you can find love again.